this thing, bro. Yo,
Fuck yeah.
I'm driving to my parents like a bit earlier today, bro, and like this snow is just some nonsense. Like I know you guys have had a lot of snow, and like when you were showing me that like the other day, like last weekend or whatever, you were showing me like how you had like Jack Frost and Mr. Freeze basically said fuck y'all. But yo, as I'm driving to my parents today, bro, Mr. Freeze, he just shit on the whole city. He's like, yo, y'all gonna have this snow, y'all gonna have this slush, y'all gonna have all this. So now I'm sitting here struggling. My little car can't handle this shit. I'm slipping and sliding. Yo, fuck
Dude.
winter, man. That's all I can say is fuck winter. Excuse me while I kiss the sky though. I'm about to hit this motherfucking hit this weed.
Oh shit, I should have saved that bowl I had packed then.
Hey, bro. Hey, well, that's what I'm saying. Don't if you feeling to get down during the show, get down, bro. Hey,
I got
Ultra Fly Talk. This is a different. There you go. You got the pen. Yes, Trent. This is a
the
different type of
gram,
show.
the full gram.
See, there you go, Trent. There you go. There you go. That's what's
OCS,
up.
shout out to OCS. Adura Cannabis. Fuck. Never thought I'd say the day where I'd actually shout them out on anything, much alone a podcast.
Hey, bro.
Fuck.
But if they're helping and supplying the need for you, they got to get their shout out, man.
It's,
That's the way I
it's
look at
cheap,
it.
man, so I went for it.
Another topic. What do you think about this whole Valentine's Day bullshit? I say bullshit in the sense of I'm currently a single man. It is what it is. But I say bullshit because it's like on some real shit. You could be kicking it, buying your girl flowers, having a good time. You guys are doing things for each other on a daily. You gotta wait for the 14th of February to do that shit.
Yep.
What
I
are
agree.
your thoughts on it?
I
Agree?
agree with that. I'm also like single as fuck, so like
Hey,
I don't know. It's weird. Like it's definitely like a marketing thing. Like it's 100% like they just made this up so they could sell some fucking flowers and chocolates and cards on in February. Because if you look at it, when's the next holiday from here? After New Year's, when's the next holiday?
and that's the thing. Depending on if you look at it like a holiday, there's St. Patrick's Day and then there's Easter in April. Depending on how you look at things.
Exactly. Now, why
Like
is St. Patrick's Day all of a sudden started becoming a big thing? Nothing in March
yeah,
to celebrate, nothing in March
yeah,
to sell money or sell products for.
yeah. No, 100%. And then next thing you know, you have all these people like basically like even like back when we were in university, like the whole like everybody dresses in green and kiss me, I'm Irish and all that other shit, right? It's like
Yep.
it is a marketing thing, especially for like of age university students. I mean, I'm not out here to snitch, even though not everybody was of age. I'm just saying I'm not out here to snitch. But like it is a marketing thing, just like Valentine's Day. That's why I just ask because it's like it's crazy though, because he'll have you like breaking the bank, he'll have you or if you don't break the bank, it'll have you arguing with your significant other over like nonsense. Shit that you've been
It's
doing all year.
I look the same at like Christmas like that. People fucking kill themselves just to pay like just to get gifts for people and just to do all this instead of like the whole concept behind it gets lost. Like the whole like we're supposed to get together and like be grateful that we're all together here at the end of the year, basically, sort of thing. And like, I don't know, just be happy and like goodwill and peace on earth, sort of thing, right? Like that gets lost in translation just as much as, pardon me, love and like you're supposed to have like a day for your lover, sort of thing, like the day for just the lovers. And, you know, I just think of a Perfect Day by Lou Reed, even though that's all about like a various number of things, but it's just like you're supposed to just spend the day with them and it's just supposed to be that good day. And then you have a holiday dedicated to that sort of thing. Like it just gets lost. It
And
just
that
gets lost in all the fucking money.
man, and that shit is like poetry in the sense of that's literally how unfortunately it is. You get put in a situation where you have to choose between well, in a certain sense, you have to choose between rent and spending. So all I'm saying is if we're gonna be put into the situation where you have to choose between like some making the right decision and making a decision that's going to make someone else feel good just for a quote unquote day, you're going to compromise a lot more than you should. And I feel like sometimes these holidays are just like another reason for that shit to happen. Like get into, especially for the people who unfortunately get into arguments over these quote unquote holidays or on these quote unquote holidays, where it's like, man, we're supposed to be showing love and this, that, and the third, and you want to argue because I got you the wrong roses or whatever. Like, I'm just saying as an example. Shit is crazy, bro. That's why I just wanted to ask you, like, what do you think about that type of shit, you know?
Even fucking when I was in a relationship, it was always going to be like, I got to do something. And it's like, well, what do you do? Like, do you just do the normal thing and just get like friggin' roses and chocolate and knowing she's going to just be like disappointed by that? Or do you just, what do you do?
No, and that's the thing, Trent. Like, there's, in my opinion, it's like there is no quote unquote correct answer. It's more just like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain because like the simple way of putting it is like, you don't want to destroy your relationship and shit, but at the same time, sometimes you want to just be able to express yourself and be like, I show you appreciation every day or whatever. We don't have to be arguing, or you don't have to put me in a compromising position or whatever the case is over some materialistic shit. When the reality is, if I'm showing you all the different intangibles that make me a quote unquote great man or a great boyfriend or whatever, that should be enough. Just like if you're showing me all the great qualities of a woman, I shouldn't then be like, wow, but she doesn't do this. I should focus on the things that you do, that you are doing, you know?
I agree.
Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy.
It's just, I don't know. It is an excuse for a lot of people to have fights. And unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation. And that all comes down to like that couple and whatever else is going on there. But it's still at the same time, less fights, the better. Am I not wrong? But like, I don't know.
No, for real. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know.
No, but that's the thing. It's like we have in my opinion, it's like we have the option to face realities or to live in a fantasy. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to relationships. Is this person really good for me? Or is it a situation where they might be living a facade, or they might be showing a facade? Because if they're showing you their true actions and their true self, you got to believe them. Despite they may have shown you things that you want to see in the beginning, and then eventually, unfortunately, shit starts to wear off. I don't even know if this is the person that I want to be with. Shit's crazy. I guess it goes back into the next topic I'm kind of leading into is like, are we really out here getting to know people before we want to bond with them in a real way? Or are we just jumping in real fast over some lusty shit? Oh, she's hot, so let me try to fucking, you know what I mean? Let me try to smash, and let me try to, next thing you know, you have a kid and you're like, I don't even know you. You know what I mean? I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that?
So there'll be a day when I'm able to talk about this like a lot more like openly, because still right now I'm still processing a lot of the shit and still going through it. But the last relationship really fucked me up, to say the least.
Shit.
And what you said there, it's like, should we get to know these people before we just jump into it? And unfortunately, like, most people don't. Like, loneliness rules the roost as far as I'm concerned. A lot of our actions as humans come about from just wanting to like cure that loneliness we feel inside and just wanting to be like whatever else. But do you drink poison if you're thirsty? You know what I mean? Like, just because somebody seems like this is also why people get sucked into like crazy fucking like the hardcore like Nazis and shit like that online, because they're just so fucking lonely and they find somebody that says, hey, come be with us, sort of thing. And it's like the wrong people to show up with. It's the same thing with relationships too, man. Like, you find like some people that you think, oh, I can get like behind this person, like her and I could like bond, or him and him, or her and her could bond, or whatever else. And it's just not it. Like, you just realize that, oh, I just drank poison to fucking, cure my thirst with all this. And fuck, it's not good. Like, it's just not good. And unfortunately, it's just coming to terms with like your own loneliness. And I guess what you really want out of this. And like you said, getting to know the person more than just jumping into it because X, Y, Z. And thankfully don't have any kids out of this whole thing, because fuck, that would have made this even worse.
No, and that's the thing, because it's a reason why you have to stay super bonded to that person despite your your extremely evident disconnection with them. And it's unfortunate too, because what you said, like, as far as, well, do you drink poison when you're thirsty? It's like, that's even a bigger point than what we're talking about, as far as like being with a person or going into a relationship without even knowing a person, or without even feeling like you have at least a grasp of their identity. Like, you might not, knowing someone is a lifelong journey, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, to have at least a good idea, or somewhat of a genuine, honest idea of the person, then that's what's up. Fuck around and jump into, whether it's a job, we jump into whether it's relationships, not necessarily intimate relationships or romantic, but they can be platonic. But we jump into these relationships, and it's like they are not conducive or beneficial to our health. And that shit is crazy to me, because we'll see it on the first or second day of knowing said person or getting into said job. But then, because other external factors are at play, it's as if we have to stay within the toxic environment, or fucked up environment.
Yeah,
Prime
and
example.
sometimes. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's all good. It's all good. Say what you were saying, bro.
And sometimes you just willfully like look past these red flags, or sometimes you don't even recognize that they are red flags at that time. But once you look back at it in hindsight, it was like bam, 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 bam. And you just didn't see it at the time because you didn't know what you were looking for in terms of red flags. But, and not only just looking in red flags, it also goes the other way, looking in green flags on people too. Like people that you actually vibe right and that are actually good for you, like as a person to develop on and like become better. You know what I mean? So it's not only just looking for the red flags, it's looking for the green flags within people as well.
No, and that's 100% a fact. Like, we definitely do willingly look past the red flags, and sometimes we bypass the green flags, as far as, yeah, like, if the person is a good person for us, they're showing that they could be very helpful within our journey, and we still quote unquote shit on them, or we ignore them, or we potentially ignore them, or fuck around and act like they don't exist, even though they may be the people who are supporting us the most. And it sucks too, because in today's day and age, a piece of our reality is social media. Like, that's a huge ass piece, because people who are, like, let's just say 35 years roughly or younger, a big part of their life or their journey or their existence relies, or is encompassed with the internet, or trying to build some type of platform or use it for our advantage. Now, reason why I bring up social media is because sometimes that's a platform where we choose to share, or post or publish whatever content or art or expression that we do. Now, if we have people who are quote unquote green flag people for us, we got to make sure we're cherishing them and uplifting them, because we're nowhere without our supporters. But then, to the people who, they might follow us or whatever and ignore our posts every day, but then on some random, like, out of nowhere, they might send you a DM and say, "Yo, Trent, I like what you're doing." But the whole time, they have no interest in sharing what you're trying to do, or talking about it with their friends. But then they might come to you, Trent, and say, "Hey, Trent, have you seen the new such and such?" And it's like, how come you're not telling nobody about my shit, but you're willing to always tell me about the new such and such? Shit is crazy out here. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been guilty of ignoring the green flag people, focusing on the red flag people. I've been guilty, Trent. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone could talk and say, "Oh, yo, man, I do what I want, or I post what I want, or whatever the case is." But in truth, you post some shit because you want other people's opinions and shit, or for it to affect other people. Like, what would be your thoughts though on one, ignoring the green flag people, unfortunately, and two, uh for sometimes, like we cherish the people, the red flag people, like we ignore the ones who love us and adore the ones who ignore us, you know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
It just reminds me of a lyric from a Great Big Sea song, the closest to our hearts so rarely get the best of you. Like,
Okay.
I don't understand it. Like, it's something about most, like, I'll speak for me, and whoever else can feel like if the shoe fits, lace it up and wear it. But like, you just don't, sometimes you just don't appreciate the people you have right next to you, and like the people who like genuinely care, and like the, like you said, the green flag people. Like I don't know why it is like that, but maybe it's just trying to reach out, like, oh, maybe it's like, oh, I have them sort of thing, like unconsciously, let's try and get some of these other people around here to be also green flag people. I don't know, that's how I look at it sometimes, but at
like
the same time,
trying
I ain't trying to
convert them,
win anybody over
trying to
these
convert.
days.
No, you're right, Trent. You're 100% right. And it's like, you're right. Like sometimes we try to go for the people who ignore us because we're trying to convert them, like in some way. And you're right. You shouldn't have to be, especially these days as we're getting a bit older in age, like trying to convince somebody that you quote unquote matter, or that you quote unquote deserve their support, deserve their attention, etc. And you're right. But and it's like, it sucks because you have to kind of come, that's when you have to come to grips with, damn, man, when I stop engaging with this person, that's it. Like I know, like even though we both, we might not, or they might not engage with me as much as I want them to, it sucks, but I won't get any engagement at all now. And sometimes you have to come to grips with that in a real way. And it's like, it is for your better, because maybe it just allows you to then focus on your mission more. But at the same time, it sucks because you still think about it like, damn, man, like you might still feel like I'm missing out. But in truth, and at the end of the day, I do feel like it's for the better. Like you are moving to a better place once you truly understand those are red flag people that you're cutting off of in your life. I
Exactly,
don't know.
exactly.
I really just appreciate I appreciate this different support and different things like that. And I know I'm sure you do too. It's like it's why we do what we do. It's why we feel like our opinion matters. And it sucks because even though it's a bit of vanity as far as being like, oh shit, I just did a dope podcast, or I just did a dope whatever. Like there's a bit of vanity in there, a bit of ego, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, we there, like for someone like me, for example, like I don't want to hold things inside. Not saying from a standpoint of spilling the beans or whatever, or giving someone secrets, going to judge me by the way I express it or whatever. So many people don't want to put their art out, or don't want to say they write poems or whatever. They don't want to express it out in the public because they're afraid that they'll be humiliated or whatever. But the reality is, it's like, it's not for anyone to judge you, in my opinion. Everyone should, they don't have to like what you're doing, but it's not their place to say, oh, that's garbage, or you don't matter or whatever. It's not their place, in my opinion, to say that to you. Even if it wasn't the greatest, it's not about being the greatest. It's something I'm trying to express. And I realize a lot of times, bro, like that fear of not wanting to express some shit because you're so scared that someone's gonna judge your art or whatever. In my opinion, that's one of the things that we got to try to disable from this world. As the fear of helping another person, the fear of being decent. I gotta be a scumbag because that's what the ladies like. Shit like that mentality of like certain men thinking, shit like that. Like we got to try to, in my opinion, disable those types of thinking, bro.
That's what I call toxic masculinity right there. That kind of thinking, all that, like the dark side of being a man, all the stupid pressures and all the stupid shit that like they want you to be, sort of thing, or that you're supposed to be, all that shit. That's all what it is. And that's entirely what I'm trying to like destroy and like vanquish within myself. But not only just that, but like try to show other people, like other guys specifically, like how you can do that within your own self. Cause I don't know. I think there with guys, I think that's something that doesn't get, pushed enough. Like you can go get help for your mental illness. You can, be like a weak looking guy, but still not like, doesn't mean you're not less of a human being or not less of a man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just enough of the gatekeeping. Like that's just something I'm really tired of, like in everything, but specifically when it comes to this, because this shit kills people. Like at the
No,
very end of the
100%.
day, like some people go off the end because they're just so racked with all these like societal pressures and peer pressures and whatnot, and just feelings of worthlessness. And that's how people end up killing themselves and doing
No,
whatever else.
yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's where that shit ends. It starts
No,
with
no,
us and it ends with us at the same time.
shit. You're 100% correct on that part of it, bro. Like for us to stop thinking in a way where it's like comparing oneself to like, oh, I have to fit the stereotype. Like I have to be manly man, a big buff with a beard and blah blah blah. Like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, everybody's body type is different. That's what we have to understand too. It's not for everyone to be buff. It's not for everyone to be tall. Sometimes you're born to be shorter or whatever cases. Like, I'm a shorter guy or whatever. But I say all that to say it's like people go above and beyond though to say you have to fit my mold, and it's like it's aka preferences, and nothing's wrong with people having their preferences of who they want to date, whatever the case is. Things get out of hand when we're judging people based on the way how the things they can't control. And it sucks because that's where we live in, but it's about trying to relinquish that, right? Trying to get rid of that mentality. How many of us have little sisters or younger daughters or nieces or young nephews or whatever the case is, where it's like they're growing up thinking they have to have a certain body type? How many of these, like, I'm being dead ass serious, how many of these young ass chicks, like guys too, obviously, like 13, 14, 15, out here doing the most on Instagram and shit like that, and grown ass adult people are following them? You know what I mean? People are like, this shit is ridiculous. But I say all that to say, like, Instagram, not even like Hollywood, whatever, is the only place where making a kid like famous or whatever, like, is where like that's a norm. And people are like, you have like grown ass women, like a Justin Bieber's 13, 14 at the time. You have grown ass women fainting and shit like that because they want a piece of him or whatever. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? But I just say all that to say, it's like, yo, the moment we kind of like help eliminate certain like vanity, ego, and that also like that fear of trying to compare oneself to another person just to like be like I'm better than, or oh I'm less than, because you're right, it either is going to produce somebody be super arrogant or somebody be super depressed and being on the brink of or potential suicidal or things like that. It can go either way, man. That's the scary reality in my opinion. Shit.
Yeah, comparison's the thief of joy. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. And like you said, it can go, you can be super arrogant about it, or you can just be super depressed about it. Either way, it's still terrible.
Yeah, no. And it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's not about saying that you have like, that it has to be on either way of the spectrum of that spectrum, but it's like it kind of is what it is, because it's like it's an acute. It starts as an acute version, and then it grows over time, because it's like you're looking at Instagram or you're looking at whatever constantly daily, and it's fueling the fire. It's fueling. It's making whatever grow, right? I don't know. It's just different, Trent. We live in this crazy, tricky world where it's like if it's not you constantly being compared to another man by society, it might be you constantly being compared to another man by a significant other or by a family member or whatever. And it's like, you got to let people be them. Like, let me be me, right? How are you going to go above and beyond to judge me and say, oh, well, you're not rich like him, or oh, well, you don't have this car like him or whatever. And it's like, it's usually materialistic things, unfortunately, that are the cause of this. And it's like, yo, we don't have the same path. No one has the same path. So it's like, if no man's path is the same, you can't judge me like you're trying to judge this next man. We have our own walks of life that we, and if I don't get to start off with a silver spoon in my mouth or whatever, this is going to definitely air the day after Valentine's Day or whatever. But at the same time, I'm just saying, we out here, because it's like, I hope if you're out here like enjoying that shit and celebrating that shit, I really hope that you're enjoying it with your significant other, and you're not trying to compare it to anybody else's. Y'all are doing y'all, being loving and joyous in your relationship. Because I promise you, like, once you start looking up and comparing outside, that's when some nonsense starts to happen. Because it's not you two who are influencing the bond you're in. You're allowing the exterior to do that. Whether it's a friend's opinion on y'all, a parent's opinion on y'all, y'all got to learn each other on some real shit. That's just my opinion. As a single man. And don't get me wrong, I'll take my time, and I'm sure I don't know what the situation, but I can always speak for me when I say I'll take my time, and once I get a girl and I'm out here, I'm happy, I'm living. Y'all motherfuckers who take the people who support this motherfucking podcast and shit with me and my boy Trent, y'all are gonna hear about it. And why I'm gonna tell y'all about it is because I'm trying to grow with y'all, and I know y'all fuck with us, and we only appreciate it. But Trigger, what you got to say, man, as far as maybe in closing, what you got to think about this, say about this, you know?
I don't know, man. You pretty much hit the nail on everything. Like, I don't really have much else to add to it. Like, yeah, we all walk a different path and don't have to, and we all walk it at a different pace too. Like, just go your own pace, go your own path, and do your own thing and fuck what anybody else thinks. Like, that's the best advice I could give anybody, is just do what you want, as long as you don't fuck somebody else over and don't hurt somebody else. Do you. If whatever makes you happy, do you in the end of the day.
Man, that's fucking dope. That's dope, bro. Yo, well, that's what it turns into. But it's just we keeping it short and sweet. But yo, it's just a matter of, I'm glad we get to share our thoughts and our opinions with y'all, because real shit, like somebody can vibe with this, somebody can learn from this, bro. Like, and that's why I appreciate we're doing this. You know what I mean?
That's why we do it.
Yeah. And it's just two young men focusing on our own mental health and trying to, get our own mental health correct and rid ourselves of certain wiring in our brains that we don't want to have anymore, certain toxic things or certain negative things we're trying to correct. Hey, bro, you guys are a part of our journey. It's like a page out of our book of life, straight up. But,
well said.
Straight up, like it's like, as two young authors, so to speak, authors of life. We out here, bro, just writing every day. We just writing. You know what I mean?
Poet's better.
Poet. There you go.
You are a documented poet, and I am a documented poet in two different ways, but we're still poets.
Bro, and that's what it is. So as you read these poems and these sonnets, understand we out here.
Modern day Shakespeare quotes you should grasp.
Hey, there you go.
Shout out to Dean's List.
I'm Graham.
I'm Trent.
Hey, bro, and we fucking rock it, yo. Ultra Fly Talk. We out here.